former President Donald Trump is finding himself in the middle of several investigations this morning. Later today, he's scheduled to meet with the New York Attorney General to answer questions about his past business practices. Now, it's important to mention that this is an entirely separate situation than the FBI's raid on his Mar-a-Lago home earlier this week. So to give more insight and more details, I do want to stay in New York Live to welcome on Fox 5 New York's Robert Moses. Robert, it has definitely been a busy week for the former president. What can you tell us about what is going to be happening in the Attorney General's office later this morning?
Well, Regina, as you mentioned, it is a separate situation from that raid at Mar-a-Lago, but according to the former president, it all sort of falls under the same category, and that is from his perspective, it is a witch hunt. Now, we don't know if he will answer every question that is posed to him today or if he will invoke his Fifth Amendment right. We do know that he has already and quite vocally expressed his disdain for New York's Attorney General. Donald Trump arrived back at Trump Tower last night to cheers. Today, the former president will meet with representatives from the Office of New York Attorney General Letitia James, who is conducting a civil investigation into the business practices of the Trump Organization. He confirmed the meeting on his Truth Social account. James wants to know if the Trump Organization inflated the value of properties to get loans and tax benefits. The AG's office already deposed two of the former president's children, Ivanka and Don Jr. Early this morning on Truth Social, former President Trump called James racist and said her investigation continues the greatest witch hunt in U.S. history. He used the same language to describe the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago on Monday. He and his supporters claim politics motivated the hunt for materials the former president should have given to the National Archives. But the White House press secretary said the administration learned about the search exactly how the American people did.
The president was not briefed, was not aware of it. No one at the White House was given a heads up.
Republicans remain skeptical.
Nobody's above the law, but the law needs to be above politics.
Former Vice President Mike Pence expressed his deep concern and called on Attorney General Merrick Garland to give a full accounting to the American people as to why this action was taken. Republican Senator Rick Scott of Florida sounded similarly alarmed.
This should scare the living daylights out of American citizens.
The former president faces multiple investigations as he continues to tease another potential White House bid. As Republicans cried foul about the FBI search, the House Speaker defended it.
No person is above the law, not even the President of the United States, not even a former President of the United States.
And the former president got sort of an unlikely assist from New York's former governor, Andrew Cuomo, who said that the Department of Justice needs to explain the reasoning for that search at Mar-a-Lago. Andrew Cuomo also said that the raid could potentially undermine other investigations like the one into the January 6th Capitol insurrection. Regina, back to you.
Yeah, definitely a lot of reaction from both sides of the aisle to that FBI raid in Mar-a-Lago, Robert. When it comes to this investigation, you mentioned in your story the fact that the Attorney General has also spoken with family members, and I understand that this was all pushed back a little bit, that this was all kind of supposed to happen earlier last month, but then, of course, Ivana Trump passed away. Am I right?
That's true, yes. If Ivana Trump, Donald Trump's first wife, when she passed away, these depositions were delayed in deference to her funeral, which took place here in New York City. I covered that as well, just a little bit to our east and north at a church on the Upper East Side. So, yes, now that that has passed, now the former president can meet with the Attorney General's office, and he will be the final member of the Trump family to do so after, as I mentioned, Ivanka and Don Jr.
And Robert, one last question for you, just to clarify for our viewers. We won't be able to watch this, I'm guessing. Do you know any details about whether or not cameras will be allowed inside?
Yeah, we've not heard that cameras will be allowed inside. Now, that's not to say that, as we've seen in the past, when Andrew Cuomo testified here in New York City following those sexual harassment allegations that he faced, some of his videotaped testimony was released. We don't know if anything like that will happen today, but certainly no television cameras will be allowed inside of this meeting. There are, however, plenty of TV cameras here at Trump Tower, staking out the 56th Street entrance, potentially as the former president leaves here for his meeting with the Attorney General.
All right, Fox 5 New York's Robert Moses, thanks so much for getting our viewers all caught up to speed on all of this information. Like I mentioned, certainly a busy week for the former president. You have a good day. We'll be talking with you again soon. Thanks so much.